In addition to having a diverse network, it's important to have women who truly understand you, your role, and what you're going through as a woman in your position.
Welcome to the Game of Her Own podcast, a podcast about women who work in sports. I'm your host, Jahaan Blake. After 15 years of working for 3 major league teams, including the Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Chicago Cubs, I discovered the one thing I loved the most was helping women in sports shatter glass ceilings and take their seat at the table. I loved it so much that I made a business out of it. I have the honor of coaching high-performing women in the sports and entertainment industry and supporting them as they go after exactly what they want in their career. So if you are feeling tired of waiting on the sidelines, done being overlooked for promotions, and you're ready to pull ahead of the pack and take your career to the next level, girl, I'm here for it. I also created the Game of Her Own podcast to support you as well. We are here to share the stories of incredible women who work in sports and entertainment. These leaders and trailblazers will inspire you with their success and the lessons they've learned along the way to the top. Ladies, there is nothing like women empowering women. I am so honored you're here.
Listen, as women, we need to support each other, period. End of sentence. There is nothing like women supporting women. We just get each other. And when we support each other and lift each other up, we go further, faster. Now, if you are someone who frequents social media, side note, if you're not somebody, can you just tell me what you do to stay off of it? Because it is so addicting and it drives me nuts. Okay, back to the episode. If you are someone who frequents social media, you will see there is so much content around women supporting women. The most common sayings I hear are empowered women empower women. Strong women lift each other up, not tear each other down. Be the woman who straightens another woman's crown without telling the world it's crooked. You get the point. You've seen them all. And listen, they're 100% true. I'm sure, actually 100% sure. I've made similar posts with similar or perhaps the exact same language. But today, I want to spare you that high-level pep talk, that high-level motivation, that short term. Because if you are listening to this episode, you already know that women need to help one another. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to share 5 quick tips on how to support women at work. If you do these 5 things consistently, you will be part of the solution, not the problem. You will be able to look back at your career and know that you helped other women soar. As we battle these societal issues, such as women being marginalized in male-dominated industries and women traditionally making less money than men, you can play a part in changing that. We all can. Don't think that you can't because you're just one person. What are you going to do? We can all play a part. All right, Game of Her Own listeners, you ready? Let's do this. Number 1, publicly show your support. Do you ever see women who are speaking up and someone cuts them off? Or my biggest pet peeve, I'm seeing red, is someone who shares the same idea that a woman shared in either a previous meeting or, the worst, in the same meeting. Now, I admit what I'm about to tell you to do isn't easy, but it's 100% worth it. This is when you need to dig deep and use your voice and say things like, for example, Meg, you were saying something, but you didn't get to finish. I'd love to hear more. Or, that's a great idea, Carl. Meg brought up that same idea in last week's meeting. Meg, can you share more? We have all been there when we see women get shut down for no good reason. We're not letting that happen anymore. If you are somebody who is already speaking up when you see this happen, here's the deal. We love you. Keep doing it because others will take notice and start to do the same. It's how we build community. It's how women lift each other up. I challenge everybody this week to try it if you've never tried it before. It could be in a meeting. It could be in a small side discussion. It can be just you talking to 2 other people. Use your voice, publicly show your support. You don't have to know the woman. Just figure that you already know each other. You have something in common. You are both badass women trying to make it in a world that wasn't built with you in mind. Number 2, lend an ear. Y'all, it is hard out there. And we are constantly stepping out of our comfort zone to try something new. And sometimes we fail. It's inevitable. We all are going to fail. But some of us take it harder than others. Well, I'm talking about women. I've noticed a trend from my clients and my friends who are also in the industry. We are harder on ourselves. We are so ambitious. And when shit goes wrong, man, does it hurt. Some of the best conversations I've had are those random pop-ins. Someone recognized that I was in a tough place because they could relate. They've been there. And you know what they did? They just listened. They didn't try to solve my problem. They just listened. And I swear, being able to talk to someone who is not judging me is so therapeutic. It would give me clarity on what went wrong and allow me to course correct. Some of my favorite conversations with my clients are when they end up coaching themselves. I ask them all the right questions. It's simple. I just get curious. I'm not seeking to solve at that moment. I'm seeking to understand. And therefore, my questions are different. So next time you can lend an ear, be proactive. You can pop over to someone's desk or office, or even send them a text to let them know that you're there and that you can listen. Number 3, create or join a group of like-minded women. Now, let me be very clear that I believe that everyone should have a diverse network. Age, race, sex, 100% should be diverse. And in addition to having a diverse network, it's important to have women who truly understand you, your role, and what you're going through as a woman in your position. If you don't know of a group that you can join, here's the deal. Girl, create one. Just like Jen Wolf did the Cleveland Indians. Jen is the assistant director of player development. Side note, I'm super proud of Jen. She was my very first intern when I worked for the Red Sox. Anyway, back to Jen. Back in 2019, Jen felt this lack of support for women like her who worked in baseball operations. So she created a group chat, kept it simple, a group chat for women like her. And now it is becoming the special place for mentoring and understanding. And I am sure we have not heard the last of it. It's going to grow into something bigger. I can just tell. Do you all know that the New York Times did a story on her because of this? And of course, I had to interview her for this podcast because she is such a badass. I will link in the show notes to the New York Times story and the podcast. Listen, there is no shortage of communities that are already built. You can join them. Perhaps find a few women that you want to surround yourself and make them part of your, whatever we're calling it these days, tribe, squad, posse. No one says posse anymore, but they should. But you get my point. You can make them part of a special group that means something to you, and you guys can support each other. I'm going to link in the show notes to all the different groups that are out there. I'm still surprised when people tell me there are some groups that they have not heard of. So there's a ton. I'm going to list the ones I have. And then when you read it, feel free to share more if I'm missing any. Number 4, having the difficult conversation. Now, just because we're all women doesn't mean we're all going to naturally get along. That's like saying I'm going to get along with every Black person that I work with. It is 100% unrealistic. However, one thing you can do is when you bump heads with another woman at work is have the difficult conversation. Don't go talk behind her back. I know that's the easier, comfortable thing to do, but it only makes you feel better in the short term. You vent, get it off your chest to someone who understands you, and nope. When someone pissed you off at work, talk it out. You don't have to be best friends with her. You don't have to go to church together, but you do have to have a conversation about what's bothering you. Keep it in the sisterhood. Talk to each other. It may be awkward and it may be uncomfortable, but it will 100% be worth it. And you will get better at it. You'll get better at having difficult conversations. Clear the air and move on. And you both will be stronger for having the conversation. Now, 2 things. If you're not sure how to start the conversation, I'm going to link to Brene Brown's Rumble language from her book, Dare to Lead. These Rumble starters are so good. I actually love working with my clients on how they can use them when having difficult conversations. And you better believe it that I use those when I'm doing my consulting work and I have to have those difficult conversations. I even, don't tell anybody this, well, just don't tell my husband. I even use them on my husband. He has no idea. Trust me, they work. Second, I have an episode on having difficult conversations and why it's important. So I'm going to link to that in the show notes as well. All right, number 5, last one, shut down the judgment and hate. It's so easy to see a woman out there doing her thing, kicking ass. She appears to be fearless and she appears to have it all together. Everything seems to be working really well for her. And for some reason, people judge her. Who does she think she is? Well, she seems overly confident. Now, what I notice is these people who start to judge and hate love to bring others into their little mediocre club. When you hear that shit, shut it down. My favorite question is to ask people just simply, oh, why does that bother you? Oh, what'd she do to you? I get super curious and ask a lot of questions. Well, actually, not that many, because they either stop the conversation because they realize I do not want to be a part of their pitiful club, or they realize they're being ridiculous and their judgment and hate have no merit. It really is so easy to hate and judge others. One important thing happens when you stay away from that type of behavior. Your confidence increases. I swear, I want you to trust me here. Here's why. The more you judge others, the more you judge yourself. It's simple. So if you take anything from this episode, shut down the haters and stop the judgment, stop your own judgment of others, because it's going to help you and it's going to help the woman who people are hating on for no reason. Now, if you have a problem with having those difficult conversations, rewind and re-listen to tip number 4. All right, my friends. As always, thank you for listening. I love that you choose to spend your time with me. If you like today's episode, will you do me a favor? Send it to someone else who might like it as well. Send it to another woman in sports. Actually, send it to any woman who is working in an industry where they feel like they are being marginalized, where they feel like it is male dominated and it is hard. I will forever be grateful. All right, friends, until next week. And P.S., next week's episode, it's going to make you laugh. Can't wait for you guys to hear it.